And the Rambam writes in Mishneh Torah, in Ilchot Shuvah, chapter 5, second halacha. Each person is fit to be righteous like Moshe Rabbeinu, or wicked like Yerovam. You can't be a Navi like him. You can't be a prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. But every one of you here, everyone that's watching today, tomorrow, next year, next 10 years, whenever, every single person has the ability to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. Like. You can't be Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Because he was 3,000 years ago. Righteous like him. Prophet? No. You're not going to be a prophet. No one's going to be a prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. No one's going to talk to Hashem like Moshe Rabbeinu. But righteous like him, where he was humble, where he was a Eved Hashem, constantly serving Hashem, constantly sacrificing his life, constantly praying, constantly teaching, constantly doing good things, you could be like him. That's the halacha. That means it's from Mount Sinai. Moshe Rabbeinu got instruction from Hashem. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, tell everybody they could all be like you. Just my generation? No, Moshe. Everybody could be like you. From that generation, 3,300 years ago, all the way till Mashiach comes. You have the potential to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. And obviously a woman version too. Why? Because Hashem has a piece of himself in you. But you also have the potential to be like Yerovam. Yerovam is one of the worst people that ever existed, who because of his ego decided to cause other people to sin. And as I told you before, sinning by yourself is horrible. Causing other people to sin is evil. Even Nachman Bialik, who wasn't exactly the most righteous person, to say the least, he learned in one of the best yeshivot in the world, in Volozhin. He knew a lot of Torah, but later on in his life, decided to become a kufir. But he was a very, very popular person, and people liked him. And one person decided to put his picture in his restaurant in Israel. And Nachman Bialik passed by the restaurant, saw his picture, took the picture off the wall and ripped it out. The owner is surprised. What did I do to you? He says, you think I'm going to have my picture in a restaurant that desecrates Shabbat? Restaurant owners, last I checked, you also don't keep Shabbat. He says, yeah, but I do it privately. What I do in my home is my business. You do it openly. You open your business on Shabbat. You cause other people to sin. It's different. It's different. Both obviously have a case with Hashem, but it is different. Causing other people to sin is very different. An immodest woman is very different than a woman that simply doesn't keep everything. Why? Because if she's modest, but she doesn't keep everything, she has problems with Hashem, but nonetheless, it's not to the extent where she's causing other people to fall. But if she walks around immodest, she walks around with a mini skirt, she walks around with a tank top, she walks around exposing herself, she walks around with clothes that are tight enough where you don't really know whether it's skin or it's not. We're not really sure. He walks around like that, guess what? Everyone is looking at her. She's getting the attention of people. She may be happy with it today, that she got everybody to look at her. She may be excited. Well, he looked at me. You see, he looked at me. He looked at me. He looked at me. She's very happy. In Shemaim, she's not going to be happy. She's not going to be happy. Why? In Shemaim, every single time somebody looked at her, it's a sin. Every time somebody looked at her, she created a demon. That demon goes with her everywhere for the rest of her life. How does she know she has a demon next to her? Sometimes she has anxiety for no reason whatsoever. Nothing happened, but she's like worried. She's not really sure why. She's worried. Sometimes strange things happen in the house. Things fall, things break. She lost her job. Her husband doesn't like her anymore. Her kids are mouthing off. Strange stuff, stuff that's unusual in her life starts happening. Why? It's all the creations. You think it's any different for you boys? Same exact thing. It's even worse though. Why? Because after the guy looks at the girl, She made one sin. One guy looked at her, finished. The guy completed the sin. Many guys, they end up wasting seed. And that creates millions of those demons. They lost their job, they lost their wife, they lost their money, they lost their mind. They don't understand. They read a book, they can't understand what it says. 500 times they read it, they still don't know why. They can't pass a driving test. They can't pass a math test. They can't pass a test for seeing even. They don't know what's going on. Everyone's against them. Everyone doesn't like them. Their best friends all of a sudden doesn't want to answer their phone call. What's happening? Hashem says, I'm very upset with you. Why? You're causing other people to sin. You're causing other people to sin. So you see, Rabotai, a person has the ability to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. Righteous of all righteous. Or like Yerovam. First and most important is start considering the fact that you're not alone in the world. There are other people. So if you're going to do something that perhaps is not the will of Hashem, at the very least, don't do it involving other people. If you want to go to the movies, you're never going to be allowed to go to the movies. But if you want to go to the movies, don't ask your friends to come with you. Go by yourself. If you want to go to the club, you're never going to be allowed to go to the club. But if you want to go to the club, don't ask your friends to go. Don't be the guy who, listen, you know what, I'll drive everybody. I'll drive everyone to the club. Don't be that one. You want to go to the club? Go. But don't bring anyone else with you. Why? Because once you bring other people to sin with you, then you're creating a much bigger damage.